Alright, so this is Williams Riverboat Gambler from 1990, one of the last System 11 games. It's actually a really cool game. I think it's underrated, to be honest. This particular example has got a diamond plate playfield on it, so it's quite rare, but it means it's in an awesome shape. Previous owners put sort of mylar over the whole playfield as well, so it's still excellent. I thought I'd just explain a bit about the game. To be honest, there's quite a few videos on YouTube, but I don't think there's that many explaining too much about the ins and outs of it, and it's actually, I think it's a lot of fun. The main reason it gets a sort of a bad rap is to do with the roulette wheel on the back box. There's sort of a random jackpot aspect to it, so it's not that suitable for sort of competitive play, but as a game to own at home, it's actually a lot of fun, especially if you kind of ignore that part of it and just try to go for what I consider the main objective, which is trying to spell casino. I'll explain the game sort of from right to left, starting with the skill shot. So you can see up the back here, there's the ball sort of plunges up this lane and up a skill shot ramp, which is kind of in between these three layers here. There's three switches. You can see they say skill shot, flashes, bumpers, 1, 2, 3. So a ball, you want it to roll up past the third switch, not too far, such that it rolls around and down through this hole which feeds the bumpers. You want it to go past all three switches and then it rolls back down sort of a lip and sits here, and this is the roulette wheel kind of lock. So the ball will hang out there, and you get a chance to bet on the roulette wheel. Really best to just bet on black or red. If you win, you get, I believe, 100 chips, and then your win meter advances up 1. So you've got a win meter up here. You can see the light chasing up. There are 6-7 segments to it, and I think it starts maybe halfway. So every time you win roulette or you complete other features on the game, your win meter will go advance 1. When it reaches the top, you can go for a jackpot, where you bet half your chips. Chips are related to your bonus. You bet half your chips for a chance at the jackpot, which is up on the display up there. I think it's just off camera. The jackpot starts, I think, 3.5 million and goes all the way up to 99999. It carries over between games, and it's like a lot of System 11 games. So that makes it sort of even less suitable for tournament play. But it is pretty cool to cash in a big jackpot like that when you're playing by yourself. So that's the skill shot. Next over is you've got these chips targets here. You can't really quite see them, but there's 5 blue targets here which spell chips. And sort of right beside them, you can see there's some inserts chasing up. There's a star, 50, 10 and 20. 50, 10 and 20 are how many chips you'll earn once you complete chips, and a star counts towards an extra ball. The first time you hit any chips target, this value will sort of stop on one award. So for example, if you hit the first chips target when the star is lit, which is ideal, then when you complete chips, you'll earn a star, and then it will start chasing randomly again until you hit the next chips target. The right ramp is sort of feeds the left in lane here. The first time you shoot it, it'll light this red insert called spot card. When you make a second shot to it, that'll only light for a short period of time. When you make a second shot to it, you'll earn one of the 5 cards on Royal Flush, your sort of next card. It'll be flashing. If you shoot it again, for the white insert, it says hold card. So the idea is if you shoot it a third time, and I believe hold card stays lit, it doesn't disappear after a certain period of time. If you shoot that, then the card will remain solid. Now I've got this game set to hard, so that when you end your ball, any cards you've got lit solid will revert to flashing, so you've got to shoot the right ramp again to hold them again. And any cards that are flashing, so they're not held, you've collected them but they're still flashing, they will be gone after when you lose the ball. So that makes collecting all those cards quite tricky, but it's a lot more fun in my opinion. Then next over you've got the bumper sort of nest up there, that's really active. I've sort of set these to be like a hair trigger, so they go really well. If you, depending on how many switches you roll over on your skill shot, will determine how many of those bumpers will be flashing to award 3 chips every time it gets hit. So if you get a skill shot, then you can also work your way up to, you know, earning lots of chips when you shoot the bumpers pretty quickly. And that's key for lighting the roulette wheel. So you have to earn 100 chips to light the roulette wheel, to have another go at roulette. Then you've got this bank of drop targets here. There's 2 sets of them, sets of 4. They spell 5 and card. Anytime you complete a set of 4, either set of bank of 4, you will spot the next card in royal flush. So it's similar to shooting the right ramp twice. It's a much more dangerous way to collect them, of course. Then you've got this left ramp, which is actually 2 ramps. So by default, the ramp drops down to shoot up here as well. By default, that's flappers up, and the ball will shoot around the back, around I call it the roulette ramp. Typically, if roulette's not lit, it'll just send the ball all the way around. If it is lit, then it'll hang on to the ball here, and you get to have another bet on the roulette wheel. So it has a winning streak light in here as well. It's this blue one. So anytime you shoot the right ramp, then the winning streak arrow is lit for 10 seconds or so. And if you make any subsequent shots along the winning streak ramp, you'll earn points for that, but also advance your way to hopefully getting the slot machine. So the way I've got it set up is I think 3 winning streaks will drop the slot machine. So effectively you've got to make 3 consecutive shots around this roulette wheel ramp. It'll drop the ramp down. You can shoot up around the back into the slot machine, which is just a hole with a sort of coil launcher underneath it. So when you do that, the ball will hang out in there. You get a second ball served into the shooter lane. Once you launch that, this other one gets fired out around the roulette wheel for 2-ball multi-ball. Multi-ball in this game isn't like typical games. There's no kind of jackpot for it or major objective for it. It's a bit more like, you know, classic pinball machines where the multi-ball has some different features, but for the most part it sort of gives you an opportunity to just earn more points and have sort of a spare ball in play. In the case of Riverboat Gambler, when you during 2-ball multi-ball, winning streak shots, so shots around the roulette wheel, will advance your win meter up 1. So multi-ball is kind of like a shortcut, like a super speed way to get to have a chance at the big jackpot. Also, multi-ball helps you out with this lane here, and it explains this flashing queen bust card. It's this black target next to the left of that ramp lane. So you've got this lane here with the 3 sevens and a green arrow at the end. That's your blackjack lane, and I'll explain that in a sec when I explain casino. So the last thing to explain basically are these in lanes here. So you've got obviously 2 standard in lanes and 2 out lanes. The unique thing about Riverboat Gambler is that the ramps feed the ball after the switch on the in lane. So unlike a lot of games which will feed the ball up higher and the ball will roll over the in lane, in Riverboat, shots to the ramps will not roll over an in lane target once it feeds in. And that's kind of critical because the left in lane lights spot card, so that's this red arrow here to shoot the right ramp and spot a card, lights it for 5 seconds. The right in lane lights the slot machine shot. So I explained before that typically to drop this ramp to shoot in the slot machine for multi-ball, you have to shoot 3 consecutive winning streaks. But if the ball happens to roll down the right in lane, it drops the ramp for about 5 seconds, so you get a couple of attempts at shooting that ramp. Kind of a clutch scenario. If you pull it off, it's a really cool, quick way into multi-ball. But of course, because there's no ramps feeding those in-lane rollover switches, you have to get them just by random bounces when the ball feeds its way in. And also, which I'll show you once I start a game, only one of these 4 in-lane or out-lane rollovers can be lit, and you switch it using the flipper buttons. So you sort of have to, if you see the ball potentially going to go down one of these lanes, you have to quickly switch the lit shot to light the one the ball's going to go over. So it makes it quite tricky, and you've got to think on your feet to be able to claim those. But it's a really cool feature of the game, I think, especially as a sort of a shortcut to multi-ball. I think great players could probably shats the in lane, which is like a really late shot off the left flipper, which will shoot up the right in lane. I've tried it a few times, but it's a bit too risky for me. But that could be a quick way to potentially light the slot machine just with one shot. So all this to end in the sort of the main awesome feature of the game, which I think is spelling casino is the core objective. You get 2 million points for it, which is kind of pittance for how tricky it is, especially when it's set to hard. But just as an objective for yourself, it's a really cool challenge because you end up using the whole playfield. So I'll start at O and work my way left. So O, you collect when you spell chips, which is completing those stand-up targets there that I mentioned. N is where you have to win a spin at roulette anytime during the game. The I is the skill shot. The S is shooting the slot machine, which is dropping that ramp. A is earning blackjack, which is this lane here with the green target. You have to spot, each time you hit it, it spots you a 7. On hard mode, which is the way more fun way to do it, is when the 7th, the third and final 7 is lit to get 21, the queen bust card is also lit. So if you miss and hit the queen, you bust and you lose your 7s and you're back to 0 with blackjack. Now in multi-ball, that bust card is deactivated, so it's kind of a strategy to get 1 or 2 7s and then try to start multi-ball so you can get that third 7 without the risk of hitting the bust target right next to it. And finally, 5 card is tricky to get on hard mode, especially because you will lose any spotted cards and any held cards will be reflashing. You've got to collect all 5 to earn 5 card, and once you've collected all 5, the right ramp is lit for royal flush, which is this arrow here, and you've got to collect royal flush and that'll give you the C. Now the reason I went backwards is because you want to leave that till last, because if you shoot, if you collect 5 card and you collect royal flush up the right ramp, royal flush will remain lit for another 5 seconds or so, and so if you can consecutively shoot royal flush, you'll earn, I forget how many points, pretty good points, but also you'll earn the C again. So if you leave C till last and you make that the final letter of collecting casino, casino starts from scratch again, but you still have royal flush lit. So if you hit it again a second time, you'll get that C with a single shot on your second sort of round through casino. So what would normally take a lot of shots to earn all the cards and then collect, you can do with a single shot if you pull it off. So that's a real thrill as well. I think my best so far is getting, I think, 2.5 times through casino in one game. It helps to earn extra balls with that. So there's kind of 2 ways to earn extra balls. Sometimes a slot machine might give you an extra ball, which you get sort of a random award up there. The other way is collecting 3 stars. So on the back box here you've got 3 stars for second chance. Anytime the roulette wheel lands on one of the 4 stars, regardless of whether you won or lost that spin, if you win your bet or not, regardless of that, if it lands on a star like it is now, you'll spot one of the 3 stars. You'll also sometimes get given a star on the slot machine, and the other way to get them is through the chips targets. So if you collect all 3 stars, you'll get a second chance, which is the game's term for an extra ball. And the reason they call it second chance is it's not really an extra ball, it's kind of like a continuation of the same ball. So I explained that if you lose your ball, you'll lose your royal flush cards that are flashing. Well, with second chance you won't. So it's effectively like an infinite ball save, think of it that way. So that's a pretty cool feature of the game as well. So yeah, I'll leave it at that and we'll have a game.
Welcome aboard.
shot. Oh, too far. Alright, so I had no chance there to choose what I wanted for chips, so you see 10 is flashing, so when I complete chips I'll get 10 chips. Ideally you want to get a star there, but that's alright. So in this case, basically what I want to try to do is go for roulette so I can get the end. And, so I missed that one, that was a blackjack 7. See the winning streak's lit, so that was one winning streak. I want to get another one if I can. Okay, so there's a little hole through there, so went back into the shooter lane, so it's good. Get another chance at the still shot. Ah, too far again. I've got the slot machine ramped down, so if I shoot up there I'll get 2 ball multi-ball. There we go, so it's spelled chips. So I've got the O in casino. Alright. And I've got that star lit as my next award when completing chips, so now I just need to get the I and I'll earn a star. So my goal now is to shoot the slot machine ramp without hitting the bust card, because I've got 2 of 3 7s. And so if I shoot that, then the bust card will be deactivated. There we go. So slot machine, see what we get. Okay, 100,000. So second ball served up, bust card's deactivated, winning streak is lit. Let's try for a skill shot. There we go, skill shot. We'll go black. Nice. Okay, so I want to go for blackjack if I can. There we go, got the blackjack. Oh, that's alright, no worries. So now it says play roulette for jackpot. So we can try for that. Right now it's just under 5 million. So we'll give that a go. Ah, I lost it. Now because I hadn't shot for the roulette wheel for jackpot, it's still lit. If you attempt a jackpot and you fail, your win meter goes back down to 0. If you collect a jackpot, you can still collect more as long as you keep your ball active and you keep winning roulette. So we'll see how we go. Another skill shot, this will be for jackpot. Let's go red. Nice. 5 mil, 1,000 chips. So I can have another go. Ooh, mind games. We'll go black. Keep alternating. Ah, should have gone red. So now the win meter's back to 0. But that's alright, I'm doing pretty good. So I've got casino minus the C, so now you need to get the C. I've got no cards towards royal flush. Now the safest way to do it is to keep looping the right ramp. I'm not very good at that, but we'll give it a try. So I just got that star from the chips target. So shot it once, now the red arrow is lit to collect a card. No, I don't miss that. Alright, well that's not lit anymore. I'm just going to use the drop targets. I'm better with the drop targets. Oh. Even though it's dangerous. Oh! Right, so this flashing 10 will be gone after the next ball. So collecting 5 cards, pretty tough. There we go, got a replay. Let's try for that skill shot again. Nice.
Ooh, you're good.
Go for black. No, but I got a star. So now I have two of 3 stars. And those chips targets are chasing the award because I haven't hit any yet. So what I've found is the trick for getting the star is you cradle it on the left, shoot out the bank of chips targets just as the 10 is being lit. Ah, missed it though. Let me try again. There we go. So now I've locked in that star, so if I complete chips again, I'll get an extra ball. So I think it's pretty valuable, especially when you're trying to get all your cards for royal flush to get your C. Just trying to get those drop targets. Those bumpers. Awesome, so I got 100 chips just out of those. The roulette is lit. But I don't really care about roulette at the moment. Just want to try to get that C in casino. Oh, lost it. Alright, one more ball left to get that C. And I'm still back to, now I got one flashing 10. No, that was it. That was all my balls. So I missed out on casino. I might give it another go.
Welcome aboard. Ooh, you're good. Pick a color.
Right again.
Come on, black.
Nice.
Play roulette. Pick a color.
So when you're going for casino, roulette isn't really that valuable other than getting the eye, but also it's worth continuing to shoot for if it's lit just to get stars. So I got 1 star before, but stars help towards your extra ball, so they're worth doing. I don't really care too much about the points. I'm just trying to get casino. I got that slot machine lit, so that's good. See what we get. Oh, 777s, 3 mil, and I think an extra ball too. Yeah, see? Second chance is lit. So that was good. That'll help towards getting casino. Oh, mate, that's that ball quick.
For jackpot.
Oh, I got jackpot.
For jackpot.
Might as well. Go red. Oh. No worries. Alright. So, still want to go for casino. I've still got to get the O by spelling chips, the blackjack up there, or the C, which I'll leave till last. So we'll try for blackjack. So get that slot machine ramp down. Bang. Oh man. Alright, so now I've got blackjack lit, and that bust card is lit too. I might just try for it. Hopefully I don't hit the bust card. Oh damn it, that was close. Okay, pass it over. Oh, pass. Ah, straight into it. Oh. Yeah, second chance. So what I may do is I've got 2 flashing royal flush cards. I want to hold those, so when I lose my ball I don't lose the cards. So to hold them, light and solid, I've got to shoot the right range. I'm not Not very good at shooting the right round though. There we go. 1, 2. I'm trying to get that C and chips. Oh my god. So that queen I've got flashing, I'll lose, but the 10 and the jack will now be reduced to flashing. So I still have to shoot the right range to hold them again.
Ooh, you're good.
Black.
Come on, black.
Nice, and stay in star.
Ooh, lucky stars. Pick a color. Red. Come on, red.
Oh yeah?
Play roulette. Pick a color. Black. Come on, black.
Nice.
Play roulette.
Right range to hold those cards. Bummer. So I got the C. So I got the O, sorry, the C and chips to spell, click the O from casino. What do I got now? Ball 3, one more ball to get blackjack and 5 cards. Don't think I'll pull that off, but we'll try it. This is the jackpot. Fail. I'm trying to get blackjack. Keep missing. Oh, lost it. Tough eels, where's my other game? Oh well, there you go. You see how it works anyway.